The superintendent, Lydia Johnson, wants to say some words. So I'd like to welcome Lydia Johnson.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Director Manning. Tonight, I would like to first of all, begin by thanking the leadership of North Community School. I'm sorry. First of all, I'd like to begin by thanking the leadership of North Community School and thanking Birch Jones, the principal who retired here from from the district, who worked here for a number of years, who came back and accepted the call of leadership for North High this school year. So I would just like to give him a round of applause and thank him for his support and keeping us first. Thank you. I failed to do that last time, but I think it's important that I recognize his leadership because he is integral to keeping folks focused on supporting the students and keeping us focused on learning. I'd also like to start out by thanking the Alumni Association, the Friends of the North community, for their leadership and support. For the last 6 months, we've been working with them on their attempts to go out and recruit more students to North. And I know that they've been working hard and diligently, and they should be recognized for that. I was concerned back in January with the number of students that are selected North, and I think we had about 47 students at that time. And I gave them a goal of trying to reach 100 students for the school year. We weren't able to reach that goal, but I do know that they worked very hard to do that through summer outreach and door knocking and etc. So I just wanted to do that before I get started. Tonight's meeting is a listening session, as Director Manning said, and it's an opportunity for the board and for me and my administration to hear your feedback and comments about the recommendation to phase out North High beginning with the 8th grade class for the 2011 and 12 school year. But I also know that I don't want to cut off the conversations and discourse with the community. Public education is really important to this community, important to all communities. And when you're making decisions about schools, you should engage the community. So I do want to thank Representative Champion and others who have said that they'd like to continue the conversation about what does it mean for public education in the community. And I look forward to that and bringing details forward to when that date will be set up. So what I'd like to do is just start out at the last board meeting. I shared a more detailed description of where we were and where we were going as it related to schools and shared information that I thought would be important for the basis for the decision. Tonight I'm just going to do a really high-level recap of that and share some more specific data, especially about academic achievement and choice, that I think will be informative to what you need to know further about my decision. And after that, we will turn it over to you, and we will listen to your feedback and comments. We will be not responding during your comment section. At the end, I will summarize what I believe that I heard, as well as to touch on some of the issues that continue to surface as it relates to this decision. So let's start with the big picture about two things, as I said, academic achievement and choice. First of all, I thought I would start with the drivers that have occurred in Minneapolis over the past 10 years. So in the mid-1990s, Minneapolis Public Schools had an investment in the north side. We built 5 new facilities, and those facilities increased the capacity on the north side by 4,650 students. So that was an increased capacity with 5 state-of-the-art facilities on the north side. And as I said, I think our mistake was not focusing quickly enough on the turnaround for academics and what we needed to do to improve achievement. And I think the result of that was families exercised their option to choose. The explosion of new charter schools and the choice is yours resulted in an enrollment decline that continued up until 2 years ago, where it started to stabilize. Because we did not transform achievement and families made other choices, we had more space than we could afford. We lost enrollment. and that lost revenue, and to protect the academic program, we closed 8 facilities on the north side. So I thought it would be important to see that the initial investment and then the beginning of the choice is yours and the increase in charter schools and what that did to the enrollment on the north side. We also lost enrollment in elementary grades a decade ago that's playing out in the north side currently. And our failure to transform, again, I said academic achievements result in a crisis of confidence for our families. So if you look at the enrollment decline, it starts out in 2000 at 1297. You go down to 2010 at 265. During the time period from 1999 to 2003, we lost nearly 3,000 KA grade students living on the north side, and 810 of those students were in the near north alone. And most left, as I said, to attend charter and schools in suburban schools. So I thought that would just show you how that decline has happened over the past decade. And last, but certainly not least, is the academic achievement of the North in reading and math and science, and it shows the trend from 2008 to 2010. And as you can see, though, there were some improvements in reading from 21% to 26%, which is improvement. And we saw it also in math from 6% to 8%, and that it leveled off in science, that 4% and 8% of students achieving a proficiency is not sufficient, and we should expect more as it relates to what we need for our schools. And ultimately, I think what it boils down is just transforming academic achievement. And we know that intensive interventions tailored to meet the needs of students, and our focus this year is just on good teaching and what that means, because we know it's the single most important factor, not the only factor, but really a critical one in having a strong principal in each school. So that's really just a little information that I didn't show last week that I talked about, but I wanted you to see just the graphics and the examples of why this decision was made. And you can see the enrollment decline and the academic achievement, because of the 2 factors I think that really end up mattering most to families. So I'm not sure, and that's basically what I wanted to share before we launch into the statement portions and the question section of this particular program. If you, as I said, if you come up and make a statement, we will certainly capture that, but we will not be responding during this session. At the end, as I said, I will end the session with summarizing some of the high points and statements that I heard. And we are going from 6:30 to 8:30. And if we get to that point, we will make an assessment about the time at that point. And we will be asking people to make sure, if we don't get to you, that you submit your statements to the Board of Education and to me, and that you leave your name and information with Mr. Dan Lawrence. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Director Madden.